hope my list is decent.
Hello, baby.
Hello, nasty. Hello there.
Hello.
I say hello.
Hello, friend. Hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends.
Hello, operator.
The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
It's the Brink of Sanity episode 127.
127. You know that
Yes.
intro music is so good. Like, it's done really well. And like at the end, when it's like, it's showtime. I really almost feel like bad because I feel like I should have a better. We should have a better show prepared for that.
Yeah, you get so excited with it showtime, and it's like, hey, I checked out like 6 months ago.
It's showtime. So anyhow, I was painting my wall and I was watching it dry, and it was really awesome.
Time for my NPR voice.
So since last episode, Jay gave blood again, or this is the exact same episode, and we're just keep filming, keep playing. Anyhow, Jay's drinking while after giving blood.
Yeah, now it's more alcohol, and it's later in the day.
Tomorrow, Jay won't remember doing this episode.
I'll just black out on 1 out of every 2 episodes.
Yeah. So anyhow, we are doing this show. We are going to do my 10 rants that I do every month because I have a lot to complain about, and not enough people want to hear me rant. So I do it on the show instead.
I'm sorry nobody listens to you.
I don't know why they didn't listen to me. Anyhow, so my first thing, so I was, we were at the movies, and this is actually going back last year, we saw Black Swan, and the movie theater was a small, like, theater that only had, it was like on 85th and like 1st, and they only had one movie at a time, and so they let everyone in for the movie, and then everyone had to leave, and then everyone else can go to the next set of people go in. And so it was a really cold day, and everyone was waiting outside, and they're like, we can't let you in for another, like, 15 minutes, until the movie lets out, whatever. And so I'm knocking on the door, and the one guy that works there, I'm going to try to, like, argue with him so we can stand inside. And I'm like, sir, it's pretty cold out here, and can we just stand in there? And the guy's response was, he basically had a severe stutter. And what I basically learned there is there's no arguing with a stutterer unless you're, like, the most heinous person on earth. And it pretty much just like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'll stand out here. I'll freeze. It's totally fine. I'll just stand out here. Don't even try to make another sentence out. No, it's okay. And I feel like what I realized is that for all conflicts in life, we should just have a stutterer arguing for us.
Well, how about next time somebody argues with you, you just start stuttering?
Because would you argue with someone, like, even no matter what you're arguing about? Like, you got into a car accident, like, and you're trying to figure out whose fault it was, and you get out, and you're like, it was I had the right of way. And the other guy was like, no, I had the. You'd be like, never mind. You're right. Here, just take my credit card. Just get it paid up. There's nothing you can do about it.
So this is why your movie wasn't in 3D, because you went to...
Yeah, I went to a small theater, basically, where 3D technology is still 10 years away.
It was like a non-for-profit movie theater where they
You're right.
hire disabled people, and they don't have 3D yet.
Yes, I would have seen Natalie Portman getting gone down on by Mila Kunis in 3D if I'd gone to the right theater.
That's a shame.
Which is really all they should. Instead of calling it Black Swan, they should just call it Natalie Portman going down to Mila Kunis, because that would be massive ticket sales.
Yeah, it sure would.
So anyhow, my revelation was that arguing with a stutterer is pretty much you pretty much have to be Hitler to argue with a stutterer. So I think in general, stutterers should do all negotiating for our country. They negotiate peace treaties, everything.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't feel bad, they'd get bored. Stop.
Eventually, the Taliban's like, fuck it, you guys. We'll start treating women better. I can't take arguing with you.
Maybe we should write all contracts like that too.
Like, could you imagine, like, you're like in court arguing with someone about a case, and the other guy stutters. You just eventually you're like, fuck it. I don't have the energy. I give. My client's guilty. I give. So that was my first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing, I kind of caught in the news a little bit. They always have these programs where the cops try to get guns from the community.
Yeah,
they're trying to get illegal
guns for tots.
Yeah, they have guns for toys, which is always kind of a weird thing. But this one was like
cash for guns.
Cash for guns, yes. And so what I found interesting about the thing, I forget what it means.
Was that real? I just made that up.
Yeah, it was cash for guns.
Oh, okay.
It was like the local law enforcement said, turn in any gun, we'll give you $1,000 or $500, whatever it was, we'll give you money and no explanation needed about the gun.
I need to get some guns.
So what I found interesting about it was the whole point is to get rid of guns in the community.
Yeah.
And they were like, limit 3 guns per customer, per person. I was like, oh yeah. If you have 8 illegal guns, keep the other 5 illegal guns for the next time we do this.
But I have a whole arsenal.
We're trying to get guns out of the community, and someone wants to bring a whole arsenal, and we're like, no, sir. We only pay for the first 3.
Fine, I'm going next door to Guns for Gold.
Yeah. I love the programs that have, like, good intentions, but limits on, like, good intentions.
Yeah. We're only so nice.
They're only so nice.
We want less guns in the community, not no guns in the community.
It's like having a soup kitchen being like, we're going to feed your family unless you have more than 5 kids.
Or if you're really fat because you're obviously eating from somewhere. I don't know where you're getting the food from, but you don't need to be here.
Can you imagine at the thing, you're like, I have 4 guns. Oh, man, we only take 3 guns. You're going to have to keep that gun until next time we do this.
But don't hurt anybody.
Please don't hurt anyone. Ooh, you know what? Why don't you keep the bigger gun? Because I think you could sell that for more money. Maybe this will go faster than I expected. Maybe it won't take even a half hour.
I don't care.
My next
7-minute show. Fuck it.
Anyone know Jay is checked out on the show.
1 minute per listener.
Okay, so next thing and this is not really something to say. It's not the 110 top things that people are talking about in New York or anything. But,
okay, that's good.
the rebel flag.
Oh, for going forward, no more lists of over 100.
So we ended last episode. Jay was like, we have a list of 110 things that people will talk about in New York. And he's like, should we do this list? And I was like, there's 110 things on the list. This can't be fun.
It started off fun. The first 2 were really fun.
So my thing is the rebel flag. You always see people in the South draping the rebel flag. And then people always remind them, hey, the rebel flag, I mean, the whole thing is just for the Confederacy, which at the end of the day, the big problem with it was the Confederacy was fighting to keep slavery. Mm-hmm. So the rebel flag is offensive to black people.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the basic argument why people say they're against the rebel flag. That's why they don't like when people display it. Mm-hmm. And so it becomes a controversy sometimes. I think in some states in the South, people really like to display it, and people get mad about it. But it's also like a Southern pride thing. And so...
Well, isn't that the same thing?
What?
If you have Southern pride, you're probably pretty racist as well.
Well, so here's my problem with the whole just the attachment of the rebel flag to, like, people getting offended by it because it represents slavery.
Yeah. But it does.
But doesn't the American flag is just as representative of slavery? It's like, the only difference between the American flag and the rebel flag is the people that like the American flag in the North decided they were against slavery like 30 years earlier than the people with the rebel flag.
Except our president at the time had slaves.
I mean, all the presidents had slaves the first 100 years of our country.
Yeah. Biggest mistake this country has ever made was the Civil War.
You mean not just saying goodbye?
Yeah, just go.
That's totally cool. You guys can go.
Because to this day, we have opposing points of views, and we're never going to agree on anything ever. So that should have just happened. And they already have their own flag. They're pretty much halfway to their own country anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we would invade them and bring democracy to the slaves, and
we wouldn't let them have nukes.
But yeah, wouldn't you just say the American flag is just as representative of slavery as the rebel flag? It should be just as offensive to people.
I think our flag's very offensive.
I mean, I don't have a huge problem. I think it's just all, I mean, what are you going to do? People have their whole pride issues about the flag, but to say the rebel flag represents slavery, and actually my argument's dying.
Yeah, I don't get how the American flag is just as much slavery.
Why? Because the American flag was founded at a time when we were for slavery. The first 100 years of the existence of the American flag, we were pretty big on slavery. Yeah,
but then we said no for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we had to change it. It's basically like your friend who devours steaks every week being like, I'm a vegetarian now.
That's true.
It's your friend who just had a about face and changed all their values and suddenly you know what it basically comes down to? The American flag, here's my best example.
Okay.
The WWF when you were a kid and you watched and you had a wrestler become from a bad guy to a good guy suddenly. He would hit someone with a chair and suddenly he's a good guy or a bad guy.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, that's how America was with the slavery. We hit the South with a chair and go, we're the defenders of the Senate. We want freedom for the blacks that we enslaved for the last 100 years.
Yeah, that's true. They were basically European country that's going to help with the war. What are you for? Oh yeah, we're for that too. Come help us. That's kind of what we did, really.
Yeah, and I mean,
That really is pretty
And
much
you know how
what
fucked up the issue really was? Because basically the economy in the South relied upon slaves for their plantations and, like, for their economy.
Mm-hmm.
The North really just didn't need slaves for their economy.
And that's the only reason, really.
And that's the only reason they didn't. They were like, we're for freedom when it doesn't really hurt us too badly because we can still pay our servants very little in our houses.
We have factories, so we love black people.
Yeah, like it wasn't really as big a deal because they had to employ people in factories because they had to have some economy.
We have children that could fit in the coal mines.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
black people are too big to fit in there, so
Yeah.
we're anti-slavery.
Slavery is not having slaves is not a big. We don't really need the slaves anymore, so we're against this now.
There should be a universal symbol for hypocrite, and then that should be our flag.
Dude, I think it's Louis C.K. has a thing where he's talking about slavery, and he's like, people talk about slavery like it was like forever ago. It was a little over 100 years ago in this country. We were totally for slaves.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like that long, in the span of things. It's not really that long ago that we really treat like we're not a very progressive country. Until last week, gays weren't allowed really openly in our military. The first 250 years of our existence.
That is just insane.
So we're not a very progressive country. And
No.
and the best part of all was we fought so little of black people that we made them slaves. Yet they were allowed to vote prior to women. Women, we were like, we're going to do 100 years before we even consider letting you guys vote.
Yeah, we got all mad at Hitler, and we hate everyone who's different.
Yeah. There was a George Carlin bit about the only reason we invaded Germany because they were trying to do what we did, take over the world.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so that's my rebel flag bit. Going back to gay people, I don't know why I'm focusing on that for this episode, but nature versus nurture. You heard that argument when people talk about gay people? They say is it genetic or is it based on like what's their surroundings basically?
Oh God, really?
Are you saying to me, or are you looking at something else?
No, I know I have a short attention span, but no, it's they're obviously born with it. It's so ridiculous to think that they're not.
See, what I find annoying is that you'll see then people release studies that say, well, studies show it's genetic, or then people will counter with studies show it's this, and I always kind of think it's the most obscure and pointless argument whether it's nature versus nurture, because no one in their right mind says, you know what, everyone else seems to be straight. I think I'm going to try just being gay and being ostracized from society.
Yeah.
Because I feel like doing that.
Yeah, I want to feel uncomfortable and have that awkward moment with my parents, get made fun of in high school, and not be allowed to be in the military.
And people talk about it as a choice, and no one ever says, I remember when I made the choice to be straight.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a priest in like a church or something like that. Then you're like, I made the choice to be straight, even though I like boys.
Yeah.
But they always talk about there's some like the guy sat down one day and was like, I don't like my parents. I'm going to suck a dick.
The guy sitting there with a quarter. It's like, heads, I like head.
Yeah.
And tails, I like women. And,
Yeah.
Whew. Lucky that hit tails.
Yeah, so I always just think it's like, I hate when they talk about that, because you're like, who the fuck cares whether it's nature versus nurture or whatever it is? He's gay. He's different than you. Let him have rights just like everyone else.
Yeah, let's join the It Is What It Is party. How about that? We're very,
People are vegetarians. People eat meat. People like boys. People like women. People like all different things. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, it's fine.
we're really getting all preachy on the show lately.
Yeah, I guess my list is preachy. This is at the end of my preachy stuff on the list.
Come for the comedy, stay for the accusations and...
Okay, so this is not preaching. So growing up, I grew up in Rockland County. And in Rockland County...
where the hell is that?
It's the other suburb. It's next to Westchester, like north of it.
Yeah, okay.
North of the city. Anyhow, it's a nice suburb, whatever. And when people ask me, well, how big is Rockland? Because not everyone seems to know Rockland. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I always tell people, oh, it's 100,000 people. And the reason I say it's 100,000 people is because in 6th grade, we had some assembly where one of the speakers at the assembly said Rockland County has 100,000 people. So my assumption much of my life was that since I was in 6th grade in, I guess, 1991, the population of Rockland stayed at 100,000 people.
Okay.
I assumed there was absolutely no growth there and never really thought too much about it thereafter. And I've kind of realized in life, I base a lot of things on what people just tell me without having any real knowledge on my own of what that actually is. I never
When you're 7.
Yeah, when I'm 7. I mean, for instance, I only know that there's such thing as North Dakota because people tell me. I've never been to North Dakota. If North Dakota was a giant joke being played on me, I wouldn't know. If Ashton Kutcher comes to me in 10 years and goes, "We punked you, Mark. This was like a huge joke. North Dakota doesn't even exist."
There's just Dakota.
Yeah, it's just Dakota. It's not broken up to North and South. If you fell for that, that's it. I mean, I just noticed most things in life are just other people tell you, and you kind of rely on what other people tell you.
Are we getting into religion now?
No, I actually wasn't going to go there. I just noticed that like a lot of things, especially when I was a kid, like I base things. People tell me stuff, and I just repeat that like for the rest of my life as that being true.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
guess like religion.
when you have a kid, you could just be like, the Mets are awesome, and then the kid will be like a Mets fan for the rest of his life. Isn't that pretty crazy?
You could tell your kid that gravity is a conspiracy. And one day we will overthrow the founders, the people that rule this country, who preach this gravity on us. Mm-hmm. And your kid will believe at some point in their head that gravity is a big conspiracy. The teachers are stupid for teaching gravity when it doesn't really exist. There's a magic warlord that keeps us on the earth, basically. There's no such thing as gravity.
Named Voldemort.
And everyone doesn't know Voldemort really exists, but the smart people really do know that. And I create a website you can look at to tell you that.
You really make up a fake website.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Everything's on the web. I mean, like make a Wikipedia page about Voldemort who's creating like this fake gravity.
There's a book, Great Lies to Tell Small Children, and
that's really a book.
Yeah, and
that's brilliant.
It's 100 awesome lies, like milk feels pain. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's the same guy who wrote the Bunny Suicides book.
Oh my god, I love this guy. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell my kid that every time you bite a carrot, the angel dies, and then watch as my wife tries to get the kid to eat the food. Vegetables.
Just do that for whatever's for dinner that day.
Yeah.
There's so much potential. Too bad we can't just like fuck up other people's kids.
It's weird when you think about kids; they don't know anything. No. Everything you tell them is like I mean, like any idiot knows that. No, he doesn't, because he hasn't existed before like a year or two ago.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So, looking back at the cat.
Well, yeah. Scared me.
So my friend made a point to me. We were just talking about things about like if you went back in time, and do you think you could use outside of like for making like bets on stuff like betting on sporting events or outcome of things,
or writing down the winning of lotto tickets?
Yeah, outside of stuff that they did like Back to the Future too.
Yeah.
Do you think you could use any knowledge you know now to make money back then? Like, for instance, I can go back in time 20 years ago, knowing what an iPod is, and will never come close to doing anything with that knowledge. No matter how hard I try to make an iPod or tell people about it or get people interested in it, no one would understand what I'm talking about, and it would never happen for me.
I would go back in time and propose the idea of a shake weight.
But again, you probably have trouble producing that. You probably you have to get investors on board for it. And you throw all your money into the shake weight and be like, fuck, my version of history just made millions. They did a South Park about it.
I could be a commercial jingle writer, and I'll just write all the jingles before they came out.
But then they probably would, like, I'd go back 25 years ago. I'd be like, and baby, I was born to run. And like, Mark, you can't sing. What the hell are you talking about? It's a good song. Leave me alone. I'd write all the Beatles songs before they did. And still, I'd be like, fuck, I don't want to write these lyrics down.
Yeah, you definitely need to, like...
I remember the hook being Let It Be, but what else do they say in that damn song?
Yeah, that is true. You can't just be like, oh, I'd invent Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know.
And you would be reciting, like, even the song thing. You're like, imagine there's no religion too. Is that what John Lennon said? Is it religion, or is it imagine there's...
Religion for you?
For you, or, like... Yeah, I'd get the songs all wrong. I try to invent Nintendo. I'd try to invent the television set. People would be like, what do you can't have pictures in people's homes.
You know what you could do, though?
Oh.
You could get a camera and show up at significant events and get good photos. No?
You know what? The only thing we could think of was, like, in castles, be like, lower the ceilings. It stays warmer. Not as cold and drafty if you keep the ceilings lower. And that guy bleeding, don't let him bleed because that actually won't make him healthier.
You could ruin TV earlier.
Yeah,
It costs you less money if you just film people doing nothing.
but people would have trouble. But that's a decent idea. That's something they can do going back in time. Like
Destroy TV.
destroy TV. I could destroy things. I mean, no matter if I went back to like 2002, knowing what I know now about the Iraq War, using all the information, not a single person would listen to me, and we'd still invade Iraq.
And you'd probably be locked up for being insane, or the government would snuff you out.
Yeah, they'd accuse me. Knowing back in the year 2000, knowing about 9/11, I can go back there, do everything possible, and they'd probably just lock me up in Guantanamo Bay.
You'd probably have an accident. You know, about 3 or 4 like head people in the 9/11 conspiracy have gotten into plane crashes. Just randomly, like the top 4 people leading the...
Because they're too dumb to fly a plane?
They weren't flying the plane. They were in the plane.
You know, actually, there's a conspiracy. Apparently, those people didn't die.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was a conspiracy that they died.
Next.
But yeah, I just thought the whole thing of going back in time and not be able to figure out anything. I would go back to like the telephone. I'd be like, yeah, so we're going to do something that vibrates so you can hear the other person talking from far away. You mean like witchcraft? Well, I guess kind of like witchcraft.
You could be a fortune teller. You could be like the original Miss Cleo.
Do you think I can even get people on like, hey, that dude Christ, you guys want to listen to him? She's got some important stuff to say. You guys should follow him. I'd probably ruin it for Christ.
Yeah. Or you could just be like, well, you know, in the future, he's not really as relevant. A lot less people are kind of paying attention to him. You might want to jump on that bandwagon.
No one ever reads the Bible. You shouldn't bother writing this. So that was my thing on that. Hey, go to Amazon.com.
Okay.
This will be good for the people listening.
All right.
So there's this book. Type in Zero Debt, Ultimate Financial Freedom. Oh, this should come up. Yeah, Ultimate... Oh, it almost came up. Ultimate Guide to Financial Freedom.
Okay.
So, my friend was telling me about this book. Click on it, I guess. And the whole thing about this book is this woman, she had like $150,000 in debt. Mm-hmm. And 3 years later, or some period, I think it was like 3 years later, she was debt-free.
Right.
And everyone wants to buy her guide to like how she did it and learn her strategies. Because we're at a time where a lot of people have debt and they want to learn her strategies to how to live debt-free.
Is her strategy write a shitty book and get a bunch of suckers to buy it?
Well, I think that's probably her strategy. But here, go down. Go down. This is just great. So click on the most negative review, the 2-star review.
She's never gotten a 1-star review.
You can give it to her. I love his... So he points out, the author paid off her debt by cashing in her $80,000 IRA and paid the rest of it off with her paycheck, interest, and all. I don't have an $80,000 IRA or master's degree with a job at a major TV network, so it's going to be kind of hard for me to pay my debt off.
That's awesome.
So that basically, her entire debt plan was to use the $80,000 she had to pay off half of her debt. And the rest of her debt was paid off with her high-paying job. Live somewhat frugally with the tons of money you make.
That's funny.
And this was like a really popular book. And my friend like made this whole like, oh, this sounds really interesting. I kind of like the idea of living like he didn't even have like debt problems. He just made this whole big thing about how like maybe I'll live more frugally and save more money. Then like I passed and I was like, hey, check out this review. He's like, oh, I'm not buying this book.
That's hilarious.
And all the other reviews are like, this is not a net magic pill. It's about just spending less money than you take in. And don't spend money stupidly. And basically every review says, most of the stuff you already know already, but it's nice to hear it again.
How do you have a review that says very good book, but only give it 3 stars?
I don't know. It's not a very good book.
Some people are so stupid. You know, I can't read comments from people anymore. Like, like on Netflix. Like, you'll see the reviews. You go like, oh, should I rent this movie or not? You go to the reviews. Sometimes you'll see 1 star, and you're like, why did this person give it 1 star? The review will say, like, disc was scratched, couldn't play it.
Oh, you know what the better thing? They have they have the big thing now. If your book is not released right away on Kindle, everyone will give it 1 star because it wasn't released on Kindle right away. And so you'll see it and you're like, oh, this book must be that good. Oh, wait, it's actually all the reviews are good except for these assholes that fucked it up for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Don't write reviews if you don't know what you're doing.
And this woman got a book deal because she was on some TV network and she was already like connected, basically.
Gotcha.
But basically, the best way to financial freedom is to write a book about financial freedom.
Yeah, it's like a pyramid scheme.
And the best way to blow your money and not be financially free and live in debt is to buy her book.
You know what we should do?
Write a book about financial freedom.
No.
Save this episode and then delete.
No, we should cancel the show. I'm always thinking of ways to not doing the show anymore. And then I don't know.
The cat's thing.
Yeah.
So okay, cancel the show.
Yep.
Do a show about finances.
No, that was my only plan. Just cancel the show. No. We cancel this show, and then we do a podcast.
The link. Send her the link to the pod. She wants the link again to the financial book. So you got to keep our one fan up to date.
Yeah. So my plan.
Ultimate guide to financial. You might have to write the word financial. Sorry, no, zero debt. Ultimate. I got the name wrong.
Sorry for the dead air. Okay.
That's it,
My
man.
plan, all right, is to cancel the show, and then to do a podcast. Oh, I just texted V. There we go. And then to do a podcast. Shut up! I'm putting it in.
She's sending it right there. There you go. Do a podcast. What?
To do a podcast on how to have the most successful podcast ever. We just give tips on how to have the most popular podcast. That's our podcast.
Wouldn't that be like me giving tips on how to fly?
Yes, but eventually a lot of people would download the show trying to learn how to have an awesome show.
You should do that, and then like try to become like go to like all the news stations, the cable networks that like, always people that fill dead air, and say you're an expert on podcasting. Mm-hmm. And you even have a podcast about podcasting for they'll ever teach everyone about it. And you have a forthcoming book about. You should write a book about podcasting.
And then once I get 1 million hits, be like, yeah, nobody listened to my show.
You should write a book about podcasting, basically all the ways that you do podcasting. This is a Dr. Phil. You've got credit cards debt. You need to get this book and read it. If you got credit card debt, you need to spend more money on this book. Dr. Phil, who's helped no one in his life.
Get it and read it. Okay, that's good. I see where you're going with this, Dr. Phil. All right. Yeah, so, just charge this book on your credit card and then read it.
Dr. Phil. I hate Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Number 8. My next, I have 3 more to go.
Okay.
Number 8. My rant now is about Q-tips.
Okay.
Q-tips, if you look at the Q-tip box, what they say in the Q-tip box is do not insert in your ear. Mm-hmm. And then they give, at least the one I was looking at, they gave all these other uses for Q-tips. You could use the Q-tip to paint a baby's toenails.
This is really on the Q-tip box?
Yes. You can use a Q-tip. I should have brought this with me. You can use a Q-tip for makeup, applying makeup. You can use a Q-tip for cleaning tiny spaces. There are lots of uses for Q-tips. The one use for Q-tips they say you not use it for is your ear canal, which happens to be the only actual use of a Q-tip.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah. I can't believe there's a product that's being sold that the only thing they tell you not to do with it is the only use you actually have of it.
That is amazing.
It's like buying beer, and the only tip they say for beer is not to drink it.
Yeah. You can put it in a cup.
But next time you do a bong hit...
Stop reading the chat room. It's bad for the flow of the conversation.
Anyhow, next time you're using Q-tips, look at the warning label, and they'll say not to actually use it on your ears. And seems... At least me, how do you use Q-tips?
I don't.
Okay, what do you do about your earwax?
My finger.
That's disgusting.
Saves money.
Yeah. Anyhow, I always found Q-tips to be a very bizarre product because it talks about things like... It literally says my favorite thing is they say you can use it for painting, But my favorite thing is to do a baby's toenails.
Painting very, very slowly.
You're like, the Q-tips have caught on majorly because everyone was like, how do I paint my baby's toenails? And so number 9, my list.
Okay.
So 9 and 10, I was going to do a top 10 list for 9 and 10. Mm-hmm. And then I just didn't finish the list. So I made a top 4 list.
Okay.
Which really says I'm pretty damn lazy or I just didn't think of things.
We could flesh this out.
So the number 9,
Yep.
top 10 worst and maybe creepiest gifts to give to a coworker. Number 1, a framed picture of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, a coupon for a free massage from yourself. Number 3, a poem you wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4, your autograph on a baseball.
Yeah, I like the poem one. That could be pretty awkward.
The poem one I think is my favorite. Giving anyone a poem, and you really should make it try your hardest. Because no matter how hard of a poem you try in the poem, it'll be goddamn awful. And it'll be funnier because you've actually really tried.
Number 5, a song you wrote.
So,
Performed
a song you wrote.
Performed with a acoustic guitar.
Number 6, a subscription to a Jenny Craig.
I don't have a number 7 yet.
Number 7, a certificate said you donated blood in their name.
Number 8, my tourniquet with my blood stains on it.
Number 9, your used underwear.
And number 10, a podcast you did where you said horribly embarrassing things about yourself and about them.
My number 10, top 4 things I am tired of being told. So I went away.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Buying a star in their name.
You know,
donating money in their name.
So, in the Jewish religion, along the lines of star, a big thing is to plant a tree in Israel in the name of someone else. Mm-hmm. And so apparently there was this big thing is you pay this company and they plant a tree in the name of your dead relative. And actually, there was actually a big thing because they found out the company wasn't even planting trees, which is pretty much what you kind of knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so apparently they're still planting trees. And I remember in Hebrew school growing up, they were like, "Buy a tree in Israel," and I'm like, "Why? This is dumb." But anyhow, so my wife's grandfather died, and my parents bought it. Sent a thing saying we bought a tree in his honor in Israel, and we were like, "Is that really the least thing you could do? Is buy a tree in Israel in their name? That's the least thing you can do for anyone is buying a tree. It's like buying a star in their name."
Yeah, it's like, yes, that is the least I could have done.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, and as the person in the chat room points out, it's pretty much anything when someone donates money in your name, it's really like a giant fuck you. It's really like, here's money you could have had.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought if you would have had the money, I still want to give it actually to you.
Yeah, give them the money.
Okay, so let's see if we can complete this list also. Things I'm tired of being told. I'm pretty light, if anyone hadn't noticed in the pod, if they were watching. I have very pale skin. And when I'm in the sun...
I thought you meant weight-wise.
Anyhow, when I'm in the sun, I was away in Aruba last week, and everyone always sees me and they're like, "Oh, you should put a lot of sunblock on. You probably burn in the sun." I'm like, I'm 31 years old. I've been alive for 31 years. I get it. I burn. You don't think I figured it out at this point?
Yeah.
I need your help to tell me that I'm going to burn. Because every time I've burned in the past 31 years hasn't told me enough. It's like, why don't you just tell me hey, Mark, put some suntan lotion on and remember to breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Ultraviolet rays hurt when you're very, very pale.
Yes, I figured that out. Another thing I really hate, it's become there's a movement be healthier and healthier. Mm-hmm. And Bloomberg's on a kick with sodium now. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, eat less sodium. And eat less sodium. I'm supposed to eat less red meat. I'm supposed to eat less fat. I'm supposed to eat less carbohydrates. And I have to eat less sodium. Well, fuck you, I've got to eat.
You know what?
I am hungry and I need food. I love salt. It tastes so good. Ketchup tastes good. Everything with salt tastes good. Fries taste good. Leave me the fuck alone already.
He's on his own personal mission to destroy French fries forever.
He's going to destroy everything I like. They'll eventually be like, okay, no, guys, you need less sodium? Stop eating. Okay, now we have to eat less things that you like. Let's eat the sweet things also. And eat less things that taste like anything at all. Eventually eating fucking cardboard.
Everything causes cancer too.
Yes, everything causes cancer. You know what leads to death? Living. Everyone's ever lived has died. It's cause and effect. Being alive leads to death.
Yeah, you know what? I may be a little overweight, but I love my French fries.
Number 3. I'm tired of being told when I'm dancing to music and people go, Mark, try to dance to the beat.
Ooh.
I can't dance. Leave me alone. I understand the idea you're supposed to dance to the beat. If I could do that, I would be doing that already.
The point of dancing is having fun. If you're having fun, then whatever.
I'm drunk and having fun. Don't make me feel bad about myself.
It's like, you're lucky I'm even dancing. Because
Yes.
this happens like once a year.
Also, as like most people, I end up in a lot of pictures. Mm-hmm. And people are always like, smile, Mark, smile. And I kind of give a grin. I don't smile. Mm-hmm. I don't show my teeth in pictures.
Okay.
But, I've been taking pictures for a long time also. Technology's been around all my life. And I've kind of figured out I don't want to show my teeth. I don't like showing my teeth in pictures.
Okay.
So just stop saying to me, smile. No, Mark, smile. No, smile. I'm doing it. I am smiling. Leave me the fuck alone, or else just don't take the picture. Leave me out of it. Never talk to me again. I don't need to be in your memory. Just remember me not smiling.
Well, I mean, if you look pleasant enough, then it's none of your business.
I grin and look pleasant.
Because sometimes if you show your teeth, it looks too fake anyway.
I can only show my teeth in pictures looking really weird and kind of like serial killer-esque.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to show my teeth.
The only other way the way I do it is if like somebody says something funny and I try and like laugh like with my mouth, with my teeth showing or something. But if I'm just sitting there and nothing's funny and I'm trying to just show my teeth, it looks a little crazy.
Yeah, it just looks. I just don't know how to do it. It's just not a natural thing to me. It's a natural thing for other people to show their teeth. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. No, leave them alone.
Yeah. So that's my list. Anything that you're tired of being told?
Yes. I don't like when you go either to like. It's especially bad at a very small like bar or venue where you go see a band and they're just like, wave your hands above your head. And it's like, if your music makes me want to do that, I'll do that. But I don't like being told what to do. Or like a Knicks game where they're just like, clap your hands. And why? I don't just sit here and clap my hands like an idiot. Or like they do the, the loudspeaker will play Day-O. And I'm supposed to just like repeat that?
Yeah, or the singer, like some song, like during like the hook, will like turn to the audience to like sing.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like, who I didn't come to see her sing? Any of these people.
Yeah,
Can't hear you, Bruce.
I hate karaoke, so sing into the mic, thanks.
Yeah. I would have gone to a place in Koreatown if I wanted to hear these guys sing.
Because I was at this tiny, tiny bar and they had a live band and they were walking around and they were like, put your hands up. And he was like walking like through the crowd, like telling everyone to put their hands up. And I'm like, just play your goddamn music,
Or, another thing that I hate? When you go see a comedian and the comedian tells some joke that's like off color and then no one laughs and he's like, you guys aren't laughing because you guys are too like stiff and you guys are like too tight asses.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're not laughing because you didn't put your sentence in a clever way that makes people laugh. Just because you're being racist doesn't mean it's funny. Try to be funny. Do your job. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
You do your job, we'll laugh. We don't care what you joke about. We'll laugh.
Move on to the next joke and we'll see what happens.
You could talk about Hitler having sex with my grandma, and I'll laugh if you do it in a funny way. Just try to get on that.
Yeah, maybe not everything you say is the greatest joke of all time.
Yeah. When you're like, oh, it's too soon, or hey, you guys are being, because I'm making a joke a little about racism. You guys are. My audience at home would be fine with it.
Yeah.
Your audience at home is your mom. Who's just
Your best buddy who's stoned off his ass and laughed at everything you say.
Yeah, he thought it was funny. He also thought, like, when you farted, it was funny. Don't do that on stage.
Yeah, it's, or like at the, live sporting events. Like, I yell and, I clap and so when something awesome happens, but I'm not for that organized...
Get on your feet.
Yeah.
Like they have like a famous person also like on the big screen, and like Kevin James being like, "Get on your feet and cheer" or whatever, and you're like, Okay, Kevin.
The loudometer. Just scream for 2 minutes while we have this fake meter go up and down.
Yeah. I usually stand up and scream for those things. Yeah. All those things. And like even like the wave. I'm like,
Yeah.
Get up again.
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah, basically, I just don't like you telling me how to react to your thing.
I like just enjoying the sport myself. Just let me alone. I bought my ticket. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that was my rant.
Any New Year's resolutions before we finish the show?
Yeah, I'm going to be less nice.
Oh, okay. That's actually you're probably the only person that said that besides the Taliban.
It's for me. It's for me.
Okay.
Because I was too nice this year, and I got my studio taken away for like 3 months, and a couple other things in my life that were could have been a little better had I been less nice. So I'm going to be less nice.
Okay, I'm not going to go into that by asking. Any resolutions for for Brink of Sanity?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. Quit or not quit.
Well, it's not really a resolution. It's more of a dying 2 weeks before the show dies.
Yeah, death rattle.
The show will not die. We will make this show through 2011.
4 LocoCast will be coming up. Maybe that'll put some new energy into the show.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah.
Not yet?
No.
Well, it's not New Year's yet, so maybe next time you'll have
I got a day to think
something.
about it. Don't die. It was what.
I wasn't planning on dying. I was planning on the show dying.
The show's not going to die. We have a fan until we don't have. If fan out there leaves us, we will die. You're the only thing keeping us on going.
Sure.
Maybe we should pretend like we have lots of fans, and then people will all tell their friends because they think it's really popular.
I retract all my statements about nobody listening.
Man, we just got to our millionth download.
I missed 4 decimal points.
Did everyone catch Jay on Carson Daly last night? He was awesome.
Yeah,
You guys missed it? Damn.
that's actually a good one because nobody watches his show.
I actually wasn't sure if he saw that show.
Yeah, he has a show, but nobody watches it. So that's a good one. Yeah.
How was it meeting Obama in the White House? I heard he greeted you for being the most popular podcast in the world.
Yeah, he's a little bit taller than I thought he would be.
I heard you took him off the dribble and playing basketball with him, and you hit him in the lip.
Yeah. Well, he was pushing off on me every time he drove, and I got mad. So.
He's gonna hand check. I mean,
Yeah.
he has to be prepared to take that.
This isn't 1995 rules.
Yeah.
No more hand checking.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if you're the president.
Yeah.
So, brinkofsanityshow.com, Brink of Sanity on Twitter, blah, 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 thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. Subscribe on iTunes.
And email us at Marc at the New York Knicks podcast.com.
Yeah, go to the New York Knicks podcast.com because that is a far more popular show featured on iTunes for 24 hours. And
We'd be happy if our fan would join us in that show as well.
yeah, join us on that show as well.
That show is dominating.
It's a humorous basketball show.
It's not just about Knicks, it's about life.
Yeah, life and things.
And we talk about Landry Fields as a metaphor for life.
And apparently your wife is hot, according to the chat room.
Sweet.
Yes. Boring? What's boring?
I think my wife is hot also. Thank you.
Oh, basketball. I was like, okay.
Basketball's
I
awesome.
was like, we have to tell where to find the show, or else.
Where are they going to find the basketball show?
The New York Knicks podcast.com. It's such an awesome show. And it actually has a lot of listeners.
No, basketball is not boring. Basketball is awesome. It's a metaphor for life.
Yeah, every time I space out and it seems like I'm not paying attention, I'm checking basketball scores and getting mesmerized because it's so exciting.
I like the phrase, it's a metaphor for life. You can say that about anything that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Playing the guitar is a metaphor for life.
So leave us a voicemail, 631-676-1181. I am going to go to sleep because I have to work tomorrow.
I'm going to take a train ride home and then go to sleep.
Because you don't have to
I
work
have to work
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Peace out.
I'm in the top 2% of all Pac-Man players on Xbox right now. Just thought you might like to know that.
Are you telling us that so we feel pity for you or feel well for you?
I have to feel good about something. So, yeah, feel good.
Wait, Pac-Man's on Xbox?
It sure is. They came out with a new version.
Wait, the super sophisticated version of computer gaming now has Pac-Man?
Oh, yeah.
It's like retro. They bring back the old games.
Sure does.
That's pretty shitty.
All
How
right.
is it different than regular Pac-Man?
Oh, I'll show you as soon as we end the show.
Just tell me about how it's different.
No, I'll show you.
Goodbye, everybody.
This is the end.